What's up, my witches? It's Luna here, coming back from a little bit of a hiatus of doing chart readings. Capricorn and retrograde season is just a low time for me, no matter how good I'm feeling. So anyway, I'm back today to say Happy New Moon in Aquarius, which occurs at 3:53 p.m. in the Eastern Time Zone on today, January 21st, 2023. First of all, just an Aquarius new moon, just as the sun hits Aquarius. Boy, does this feel like a clearing of the decks, fresh start. Always when we go into Aquarius season after, the holidays, capital T, capital H, we get that refreshment after we put away all the clutter of holiday decorations. No matter how beautiful they still are cluttery, and to put all of that away and have everything kind of fresh and clean feels like a wonderful restart. So the sun and moon in Aquarius concentrates those energies of updating. Updating everything, routines, updating your stuff. For me, there's an everything must go kind of attitude. This time of year, I just get into that. I am so sick of all this stuff. What can I get rid of? So it's a great time to take advantage of these energies and really update your surroundings. Look at what really functions for you and what doesn't function for you. Look at things in a really inventive, innovative way. What new technologies or new practices can I bring into my everyday existence? And what a perfect time to do it. Also, we look at, sun and moon going through Capricorn and the heaviness of Pluto still in Capricorn, and it's getting heavier as it approaches that critical degree of 29. We feel like we've busted free. The Capricorn energy is heavy, no matter how you slice it, and especially when we've had a retrograde Mercury in Capricorn. So the feeling of a breath of fresh air after busting out of being, incarcerated indoors or, in a small space, whatever metaphor you want to use. It's just that wonderful feeling of refreshment, of freedom. Aquarius is all about freedom. Collectively, we can look at things moving towards, the humanitarian efforts. We can look at kind of the chaos that updates things. And we certainly have some of that going on politically, which I won't talk about right now. I am going to kind of change the way I've done things in the past, where I have looked at only transits that are within 2 degrees of orb. But now I am going to look at these applying aspects because they're things that are coming into play. If you look at this chart, the solid lines in the middle of the circle are the applying aspects. The dotted lines are the aspects that are moving out of effect. I am going to look at the one separating aspect, though, because it is exact in this chart, and that is the Mars-Mercury in conjunct. So here we have an adjustment that needs to be made. That's what inconjuncts or quincunxes represent, is things that aren't quite working together and there's an adjustment that needs to be made. We have Mars in Gemini, which can give us a bit of motor mouth or racing thoughts. In conjuncting Mercury, which rules that Mars because it sits in Gemini, and that's sitting in Capricorn. So we're looking, Mercury in Capricorn is about structuring of logistics, and we can only structure our thoughts so much. Our thoughts just kind of go on as they will at times, but it can talk about doing something that helps you structure your thinking, like putting things down on paper, making lists, drawing up a plan. It doesn't have to be a list of words. It can be a visual list of a brainstorming kind of thing, but it's something to help us structure how we navigate through life. That's what Mercury rules: basic mental function, basic communications, basic skills and learning, but also just logistics. What are your routines? How do you get through your day? So those first things about Mercury are Mercury ruling Gemini. Then with Mercury ruling Virgo is where you get process and logistics and how you go about things. So that's what Mercury in Capricorn is calling for. It's ruling that Mars and Mercury, so it's very good here because we have to adjust between what we think, how we go about things, and how we spend our energy, which is Mars, where our motivation is. So we're looking at here, we can't just blindly go with motivation because, what you feel like doing, because Mars in Gemini can have you scattering your energies and how you apply those energies. I want to do this. Well, no, now I don't feel like doing that anymore. I want to do this. Or you've got so many things going on at the same time that you can't be effective in any of them. Mercury in Capricorn really does talk about effectiveness and structuring things so that you get somewhere with them. That's the Capricorn part. So here is where we sort of slow down the motor mouthiness and adjust between what we're thinking about and what we're motivated to do, and all of it can be anchored in the structured plan that you come up with. So here are my priorities. Here are the things that are going to move me forward, and then we can temper that with, you look at what you're motivated to do or where your energy's at, and then go back to that plan or list and go, here's where I can apply these energies today in a way that will move me forward. So there's the adjustment, just the raw go energy and scattering of those energies, and then the structured thought, structured plan. Okay? Now we have Mercury applying to trine Uranus, which is still retrograde, but boy, it stations tomorrow, so we've got Uranus kind of at a dead stop. This past retrograde period has been such a drag. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. So Mercury trining Uranus in Earth signs. So we talk about practical thinking and how easy it is to apply that structured thinking in a way that moves us forward. So here's Uranus ruling this new moon, and it's all about practicality. We really want to apply this inventiveness in a very practical, down-to-earth way. So again, looking at what new technologies we might bring in, how we might align the things that we're doing and the plans we're making with the greater good. There's that Uranian Aquarian vibe of the greater good. We also have Mercury trining the North Node here. That's applying as well, but it's within a degree right now. And North Node is that way forward, the karmic way forward, new territory. Conjuncting Uranus or moving up to conjunct Uranus, it really is about how do we move forward in the best way with the creation of positive karma and positive consequences in mind. And then Mercury trining there says it just makes it easy for us to logistically structure those things and make it very, very practical. Hold on. Needed a drink. Okay. Now, speaking of structuring things in a humanitarian way, let's look at the Saturn-Venus conjunction in Aquarius here. They aspect each other, but otherwise it is unaspected. So it just kind of, hangs out there by itself, all on its own, unaffected by other energies. The Saturn-Venus conjunction is really about your value system and being responsible to that value system. And in Aquarius, it really is about the greater good. I don't know that I have to say much more about this. It just says that we need to take responsibility for what we say we value. Responsibility is Saturn. Venus is our values, what we love, what we like, what we, is worth spending our time and attention on. And conjuncting Saturn just says we need to take up the responsibility for broadening our value system to the collective, to the greater good, to all of humanity. So that's a wonderful aspect there. We also have, the one kind of harsh point in this chart. I'm not going to look at the Mercury-Jupiter square because that is waning right now, and it doesn't, so it would be completely out of effect as far as this transit chart goes. But we've got Mercury applying to square Chiron. So Mercury Chiron talks about how we think about our woundedness, maybe how we think based in our trauma and our woundedness, but also how we communicate from that trauma. In a more positive aspect, it would say that it's easy for us to communicate and, really process our trauma. Maybe, talk to somebody else about it, or tell our story in a way that really gets us somewhere with Mercury and Capricorn. But with Chiron in Aries, there's this kind of hotness about our sense of trauma. And square to Mercury says that we can sort of impulsively speak from out of that trauma. In other words, we can carry on that trauma. We can speak in a way that's harmful, that causes trauma to others. So this is where we really need to, and when you look at Chiron in Aries, it is ruled by that Mars in Gemini. So yes, we could just be really unthinking and too spontaneous, which the word impulsive is what I'm looking for here, too impulsive about just sort of splattering about our trauma. And this is what we need to be very careful of. So if you've got triggers coming up here, think about journaling, about putting them down on paper so you can get the ick out of you before you open your mouth and spread that ick someplace else. That's what I'm seeing in that square. I didn't look at the little graphs down in the bottom right, but we have a very strong Aquarius chart signature here. No surprise there because both Sun and Moon in Aquarius. We also have Mars in an air sign. And the fixity, we've got Uranus and the North Node in a fixed sign in Taurus. 4 planets in Aquarius, so not just Sun and Moon, but we've got the Saturn-Venus conjunction in Aquarius as well. So strong Aquarius chart signature. Again, it's the reset button. We're very low on fire. That helps us out a lot with that Chiron-Mercury thing, that we might not, feel that impulse as hotly as we would otherwise, but it's still there. So it's just to say, stop, think before you speak. Mercury in Capricorn helps us there too. The Capricorn slows us down a little bit as far as thinking and what we want to say. And the fixity in the chart also does it. It puts us future oriented, so it's a little bit easier for us to think about the consequences of what we might have to say. Alrighty, that's what I have to say about this chart, and I look at 1333 is when this video will end, and those are wonderful numbers for me. All right, you guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I hope you got something useful from this chart. Please let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you for a new unboxing at some point, and also a live stream on Wednesday nights. Hope you join me. All right, take care, you guys. Until I see you again, this is Luna. Blessed be.